Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. This video is in the playlist called Handling Strings in SQL. And here we'll be learning how to concatenate strings in SQL. So concatenation is the process of joining strings in SQL as well as in other programming languages. To do this, we'll be using the concatenation characters, which is the double pipe or two vertical bars. So let me just show you the simple syntax of that. So it would be like this. You have a string value here. String, if you don't know what a string is, then I suggest you go to the very first video of this playlist in the same channel so that you can get a good definition of what a string is. Okay, so string value, and then you use the double pipe, or you can call it vertical bar, which is the concatenation characters, and then another string value. It's like a glue, so you're joining a string to a string. And it's not just two, it can be multiple, it can be 10. But just remember, between the string elements that you want to join together, you'll be using the concatenation characters, which is the double pipe or vertical bar. Okay, so first let's look at an example which uses a pair of hard-coded values. Hard-coded, okay, if you haven't heard that, then I suggest you also go to the very first video of this playlist. So select hello and then the pipe, double pipe, concatenation, earth as string from dual. So this is a string value. We know it's a string because it's enclosed in a pair of single quotes. And then here is a second string value. And in between them, you have the concatenation characters, which is the double pipe used to join a string to another one. This one is just the alias, okay, from dual. Okay, so select this string value joining this string value from dual. Let's see how it plays out. So what happens is it is joining the hard-coded value hello with the second string value earth into a single long string. So just at a glance, you will already notice that there's something wrong with this one. This is not what you expected it to be, isn't it? So by right, there should be a space in between these two words because you know there are two words. So what you would do to correct this is to add a space either at the end of the first string like this, space bar, and then it will fix it, or you can add it at the beginning of the second string. Works the same, all right? So that's how we work with the concatenation. Okay, so it joins multiple two or more string values. Okay, so that's the first example, and that's using hard-coded values, string values. Now let's look at an example where we will be using column values instead of hard-coded values. All right. Before this, let me just do a select asterisk of everything so you can get a look if it's your first time looking at this table. So if we look at the table, it consists of a couple of columns there, which are employee information. Okay, so columns like surname, given name, and then let's just focus on those that have a data type of varchar2. If you don't know that, if you're doing SQL Developer, using SQL Developer, you can do Shift F4, and then you will see those with data type varchar2 in Oracle. Those are the string ones. If otherwise, you can do a describe of the table, and to also give you the same thing, it will give you the structure, table structure, all right? So those that have the data type of varchar2 are the ones which are string. So when we look at this table, employees table, we can look at the ones which are of data type, a data type called varchar2, because those are the strings, like this one, surname, given name, middle name. There's a date This is a varchar2. Okay, these are the varchar2, the string values. So we will be looking at an example where we will be concatenating column values instead of hard-coded values. So here I'm concatenating two column values from the columns given name and surname. So this is like a glue, if you can imagine, right? So what will happen is it will get for each record of for each row of the table, it will take the given name value and then join it with the surname. In this case, Bill Santos. Okay, let's see. So it did that for all the records of the table, and you can see this is also not what you expected it to be. But so it's similar to what we've seen in the first example, but there's a bit of a difference how we will deal with this, because in the first example, we were using hard-coded string values, but in this case, we are using column values from a table. So this is obviously not a string, not a hard-coded string. It's a column name. It's a column name. It's not a value. It's a column name. So what is being displayed is the underlying values of this column joining with the underlying values of this column. All right. So to add a string to that, in between them, you will add a hard-coded space string. So you can see I'm joining the value of column called given name pipe, or joining with a space character in close and single quotes, pipe, joining with surname. All right, so I'm joining three things in a single row: the given name value, which is a string, a space character, which is also a string, and then the surname value, which is also a string. But all of them, since I'm doing a concatenation, will be considered as one object now, a composite object, if you will, being given an alias of str. Okay, I'm just giving it an alias. Okay, when we execute this, it will now look proper because the name is supposed to be displayed like this. Anyway, it's one of the ways of displaying the name. So we now have the given name and the surname separated by a space. All right, so that's how we probably want it to be displayed. So in the first example, we did concatenation on a pair of hard-coded string values. In the second example, we did concatenation on a pair of column values, columns of a table. In the third example, we will be combining these concepts by concatenating both hard-coded value and column values. Okay, so let's just, in fact, we will concatenate a hard-coded value and column value, and this is a useful technique because it allows us to come up with dynamic content or text, which will build actually a sentence composed of both static and dynamic text. Okay. Okay, that's it. So select given name, which is a column name, pipe string, space string, and then double pipe. So double pipe, concatenate, or you can call it double pipe, you can call it concatenate. So a given name column value joining with a space character, and then joining with surname column value, joining with this string, joining with this column value, joining with hard-coded value. So do not be overwhelmed. We are just combining what we learned in the first two examples. In the first example, we dealt with hard-coded values. In the second example, we dealt with column values. Here, we're combining both. Just remember that whenever you join a string value to another one, be it hard-coded or column value, you will simply use the concatenation characters, which are the double pipe, this one. All right. So column value joined with hard-coded character, which is a space, column value joined with hard-coded text here, and then column value, and then joined with another hard-coded text. So again, Once it gets displayed, it is considered as one object from here to here, all highlighted, and I'm just giving it an alias of str. Okay, let's take it from employees table, and I've just added this bit of where condition where depth ID is not null. I'll show you. Okay, let me just remove it, and you will see the effect of the before and the after. So like I said, it will build a sentence, which is dynamic content, which can be used for reporting. So here we can see, give a name here, Bill, and then the space here is in between the Bill and the Santos, and then the surname here is here, Santos, and here is the hard-coded text is from, it's also here, is from, and then depth ID in this case is IT, and then of course department with the full stop is hard-coded text. It's also displayed here at the end. So it forms the complete sentence which makes sense. Picking up a combination of picking up data from the table as well as attaching to it or combining with it hard-coded text, which I have supplied in select statement. All right, so you can see they're all okay, most of them. The one that will not make sense is this, the one I've highlighted. If you see, Matthew Tan is from department. It doesn't make sense. It's an incomplete sentence, which is hanging in the air right now. So this is because the value of depth ID column, this one, for this record is null, which is not zero, but blank. So to fix that, I have added this where condition to exclude records where there is no value for depth ID. And this will fix that. Okay, so now it will only display records that have a value for depth ID, department ID. So all the sentences will now make sense. Bill Santos is from IT department, Marco is from IT department, Pavel Pasternak is from engineering department, ENG, etc., etc. All right. So in this short video, you'll learn how to do concatenation of strings in SQL. Concatenation is a process, it's a concept which is present in most, if not all, programming languages. And it's a process of joining string values. So I've given you 3 examples. One is for joining hard-coded values, string values. Second is joining column values of a table. And the third is a combination of the first 2, which is joining hard-coded value with column value. Okay. Thank you for watching and listening. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe. And I'll be seeing you in the next video.